if you ever wonder what these strings are on the side of poking out of the um, pants of on the sides, on the corners of Orthodox Jewish men, then these are called tzitzit. I'll explain their function and where they come from and whatnot. So one of the commandments given to Jews in the quote unquote Old Testament, or the Pentateuch, the Torah, the Old Testament technically is the Tanakh. Anyway, besides that, these are to make four corners on each of the garments to remember all the laws given. So when there's a certain amount of knots and a certain amount of strings, and then there's multiple reasons for that. And then when you have this right here, which is called gematria, each letter of the Hebrew alphabet, you can watch my other YouTube short on it, has a numerical value. When you take the word tzitzit, which is the name of the garment, it actually gets you 613 in gematria. So that no matter what direction you're looking, I forgot whether you multiply the knots by, but anyway, when you take the gematria and then do an equation with it, including the knots and strings, you get 613, which is the amount of commandments given to Jews in the 5 books of Moses. And hence, no matter what direction you look, because when you're standing, it's going to go under your, over your undershirt and under your t-shirt, so as like a middle layer, it's going to serve that no matter where you look, whether you look left or right or behind you, no matter which way, you're always looking at a reminder that you should be keeping the laws, a reminder what you may like promise to yourself. And usually what Jews do is in the morning, they make a prayer on this, saying, thank you for God for giving us this commandment to fulfill of putting on the tzitzit so that we may remember the laws you've given us, etc. So if you wondered, this is where that comes from. There's also a weird, not conspiracy, stereotype about Jews that they have children through a hole in a garment. And that's actually not true. It's assumed that came from one guy who's like washing the garment because it can get quite sweaty because you're wearing extra clothes, right? It's extra layers. I'm sure in hot summer, you know how it is. Wearing a t-shirt, it can already be hot enough in Texas. Imagine wearing three different layers. Anyway, probably when someone put this out to dry or to wash to dry after being washed, someone probably came along and was like, I wonder what that's used for, and then spread a funny joke. But yeah, that's where that stereotype comes from. It's somewhat funny, somewhat ridiculous, but yeah, it's not true. This is literally, it's like, that's my best guess of where it came from. But anyway, obviously this garment is what was meant by whoever came up with that, which if I lay it out like this, it's going to look much more like an undershirt, right? But if I lay it out the other way, it's going to look like some kind of towel or fabric or something with weird strings on the side. Right. There you got yourself undershirt. And those are tzitzit, if you're ever curious.